Hey there, this is Mrs. D, and we are building on our previous App Lab. So at this point, we have designed an App Lab right here. We've designed our app in App Lab, and we have coded it. So we have the design, we have all of our different elements. They all have good names. And we have the code to make them work. So if we run this as is, it's going to ask me for information. So type your name, Rando. Choose your age group. Old. Submit. Hello, your name is Rando and your age group is old. All right, so that was our basic app. What I wanted to do is I wanted to kind of use it to turn it into a username generator. So what we can do is we can take the name, we can take the age group or something, and we can give it some kind of mixed kind of username. So this could be Rando old, or it could be Rando 5, whatever we want. So the reason to do this is because using strings is so important, and understanding how strings work is really important. So if we go into the API, the App Lab documentation, and we scroll down and we look in variables, we can see a bunch of stuff. And next time we'll do lists, but this time we're just going to talk about strings. So there are different things we can do with strings. String includes checks for a little piece in a bigger piece. So if we had the word winter in a title, it could check a bunch of titles for the word winter. Index of finds the point, the index number of something that we search for. Substring is a piece of a string. And then string to lowercase and string to uppercase takes an entire string, like the word rando, and would turn it into uppercase. So let's start with that. So what we would do is we would need the string, and we would type the name of that string here, and then we would do dot to uppercase with the ellipses to make that happen. So let's look at that first. So right now, I type in the word rando, and it's all lowercase. And then when it shows up down here, it's also all lowercase, and so that's not what an app would really want to do. It wouldn't want to keep it all lowercase. So in order to change this, we have the username, right? So this is a variable. This is the package that's holding the word rando. And so right now, if I go to text, I can just go down to the end. And we have our on event. So this only happens when we click, but let's just jump down below it and let's console log. And then we'll put username in there. Little semicolon at the end. So now two things will happen. It's going to be blank here. That's my bet. That's what I'm predicting will happen. So let's hit reset and let's hit run. And it's console logging. Nothing's coming up. Let's hit continue because I see the pause right here. And it's waiting. It's just waiting for that thing. So there's nothing actually in username. So it's coming up as undefined down here. So this console log doesn't work. But what we can do is we can put one inside. So before these, we can put it inside. So now it's going to show up down here after I enter it, right? Because nothing exists right now. So let's type in rando again. Let's choose an age group. Now rando's a tween, right? And it says, hello, your name is Rando. And it should have printed down here in undefined. Did it print? No, it says undefined still. So let's pull this out and find out what's up. All right, so we got it to, I just got it to print rando, so I'm just going to run it again. I think it was just being a little bit glitchy. So let's step over, continue rather. All right, so let's type in rando. Choose an age group, hit submit, and there it is. So it starts off undefined. There's nothing for username right now. After I hit the button, it console logs rando. Let's take this one out so that we stop getting the undefined. We'll reset it, run one more time. And there's rando down there. Okay, so we could do that, but so I could also do this. I could put more ellipses around username. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I want to make sure everything gets grouped together. And then I'm going to do the 2 uppercase. And there it's popping up. So I want to do 2 uppercase. So now when I print it, it should all come up as uppercase letters. So let's try it and see if it works. So it's lowercase right here. Choose my age group, submit, and it's coming all uppercase down here. So that's how we use it. I'm putting the variable in, username is in, and it's going to uppercase. If we go back to the documentation, we look at how it's used. It says there's a variable called computing pioneer, and it's Ada Lovelace, and it says console log computing pioneer to uppercase. So then Ada Lovelace is going to be in all caps. You could copy and paste this down if you wanted to see how it works. But what I'm looking at is I'm looking at how we can use this for this new kind of app. So first of all, let's go into design. Now that we've got our ID and we're kind of playing with these strings, I'd like to change the screen background to another color so it's not confusing. So I'm going to change it to an orangey-ish. Oh, that's way too bright. An orangey-ish color, and then the other thing I'm going to change is the image. And I chose this from the icon, so let's find a new icon. And let me see, let me type in lock, see if there's something that comes up. All right, so yeah, let's use unlock here. All right, so now our new app, the one that we're adapting from the old app, is we're going to get a password out of this. And how are we going to do this? Well, if we go to variables, we can see down here that we have those blocks. We have the string, we can find out the length. We can see if it includes something. We can do a substring. And the way you do a substring is you designate where it's going to start and where it's going to end. And this is really cool for if we're going to use like a login name or a username or something, because then we can break up the name maybe a little bit and put a number in the middle, and then that's going to be a more secure name, whatever. You can see the value in it. And then index of is just going to give us a number. So it's just going to tell us a position. So if I wanted to know where the W is in the word, it would come back with an index or it'd come back with an error. And then it includes, I already said, is to check like a list of titles to see if it includes the word winter, or to check a series of team names to see if it's the right team that you're looking for. So if I was looking for the Eagles, I could go through a bunch of team names and see if the Eagles was included. If that's the one that's included, maybe then that's the data I want to pull from the data set. Today, we're just going to talk about substrings, and we're going to do the uppercase. So we have it right here, console log username to uppercase. And what I want to do, instead of having it down here in the console log, is I want to have username pop up here in the set text. And instead of saying hello, your name is, it could say hello, your new username to log in, is that right? Is colon space. And then here, I'm going to copy this whole thing, username to uppercase. And I'm going to paste it where I have username. All right, so hello, your new username to log in is, and so we have it's going to be all uppercase. And then instead of saying, and your age group is, we're just going to do user age there. And then we're going to take out this at the end. And then user age, most of these user ages is, if we hit run here, is a bunch of numbers. So how about we just take the first number from this, the first letter or number from this. So instead of saying user age, let's go back, let's talk about this. We want a string substring start end. So what I want to do is, let's go to blocks. Now I don't like blocks for this part because when we concatenate, things get really nutty right around here. So we want to get rid of this. We want to drag in string substring. So come on, little computer, move over. Okay, that's not working. I'm going to drag it down under here. The hardest part about blocks is things go in really wacky directions all the time. All right, I'm frustrated and I don't want to do that. So we're going to go back to text and I'm just going to type it in. All right, so username to uppercase. So this part should take it to all caps plus, whoa, go back. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to use user age, which is our other. And instead of using the whole user age variable, we're going to take the substring of it. So I'm going to type in the word substring next. And then we need some parentheses. And I'm going to go 0, 1, 0, comma 1. That should give me the first letter or number of any of these age groups. So whatever we select over here, it's going to give me the first letter or number. Okay, so let's look at it, make sure everything finishes off okay. Go back one time. Yeah, so I've got the substring there. So let's test it and run it. So I'm going to type my name again, still rando. And I'm going to choose 18 to 24. So it should say rando all caps and a 1. Let's cross our fingers and see what happens. Yep, so your login is rando1. So what we've done is we've used 2 strings here, just really quickly, to kind of make a new thing right here. Now, the other thing we can do is we could just put all this in a variable, right? Like in a real world scenario, you would want another variable. So let's add another to the top, and that'll be user login. And then down here, instead of having it all in a long set text like that, we want it cleaned up a little bit in case we want to change it. So then, oh, usert login, that's going to help. Okay, user login. So then we'll say user login. And then we're going to equal it to everything we said down here. So let's cut this out. We're going to have to fix that in a second. We'll put a semicolon there. And there's a plus here, so the computer's getting upset because it's got like a little plus here. So where we're putting that plus, we're just going to say user login. And the reason why this is better is because you can kind of play around with user login up here where it's nice and easy to see, right? And then it should be easier to play out this setting text down here because it's, you know, it's managing that complexity by putting it into 2 different places that are easier on the human brain to kind of look at. All right, so I've got this, but one of the things I'm worried about is that this is a lot of information to kind of give a simple, stupid computer. So I'm going to put it in the parentheses again so that the computer knows it's all one big thing that I want it to do. Right, so the parentheses are saying, take all of this and turn it into user login. Okay, cross your fingers. I predict it's going to work, but we can always be shocked. All right. Please stop telling me about Jill's house. I want to use rando. Choose my age group. So I'm going to do 5 to 12 years to see what comes up. I'm going to click submit. It says rando 5. So everything's working properly. So we have just issued someone their login using the information on the screen and using some substring. So that's all we really wanted to do for today. I'm sure you see the value in this, but if you don't, you should play around with it a little bit more, and you should go back to the API and play with these two. So the two that we played with today are using substring and two uppercase. You could do the same thing with two lowercase. I like to use two uppercase if there's any kind of user input. If we go back, it's kind of complicated. Who's going to capitalize what and when it's always kind of weird. So what I would do is I would have them type in whatever and then always turn it to uppercase. Sorry, that was my Pipple. All right, so we've done everything we wanted to do. It ran a little bit long because of the changing of the typing and stuff. Let me take it back to blocks so you can see it in block form. And we saw that there are some problems with using blocks, but what I do like about blocks is that when we click into variables, we can see all those fun things right here. That's all I have for you today. And then I'm going to put the link to this remix underneath the description so that you guys can play with it.